Right now, children are left without parents, communities broken apart as neighbors and friends are being taken by ICE. That frustration and anger and fear encapsulated in this striking visual out of Iowa City, Iowa, that tells really a nationwide story. This was from this weekend. More than 300 people packed into a room for a training with the organization Escucha Mi Voz to learn what they should do if they encounter ICE. And you can hear the energy in that space captured in this clip from a local station covering the event when the executive director posed a question.
If you're ready to fight for somebody you don't know until ICE is out of Iowa, let me hear you say, power to the people! Power to the people!
Joining me now, an organizer for that group, Getzy Hernandez. Thank you for being here. When you talked to the people there, what was the mood? Why did this crowd feel it was so important for them to come out and get involved?
Well, thank you for having me. I think the biggest thing is that people are really angry and they're outraged and they want to do something. They're motivated to go out into the community and protect their immigrant neighbors and their immigrant community. And everybody finds it really important to stand up, especially in the face of all the authoritarianism that we're experiencing in this country.
My understanding from reading some local accounts is that they got some firsthand information, right, from two men recently released from ICE custody, including Jorge Eliezer Gonzalez Ochoa. And we see him here in this video being taken, this video that went viral. What was the reaction to their stories from the people in that packed auditorium?
Yeah, I think more than anything, everybody was just really happy to see that Jorge had been liberated because, we have been fighting for his liberation for months since he was detained back in September. And, it was just more than anything, we want to prevent that whole situation from happening again to any other immigrant person or to have any other immigrant family separated. And I think everybody was just really energized to see that when we all come together, we can fight and we can win things like this. But more than anything, it was just really motivating to see that Jorge and Jose were able to be there and speak out and tell their stories and give their testimonies to people who do feel that spark to really make a difference and protect them.
What is the risk factor right now as people in that community feel it, not just for people who are worried because they came here from another country, but even protesters?
Yeah, unfortunately, as we saw with Renee Good, there's risk. There's a lot of risk, and that's not only for the immigrant community members, but of course for legal observers as well. There's going to be risk in anything, especially now because of how ICE is operating. But it's still really important to just do something and stand up in whatever ways that you can, which is why these trainings are super important. Because not only do you learn about your rights that you have in those situations, but you get some firsthand experience and practice in exercising those rights and standing up for them.
Yeah, that's an important point because during your event, there was an ICE raid simulation. Now, these encounters, and we've watched them, can be unpredictable. We've seen them turn violent, even deadly. Do you believe that a person who follows best practices when encountering agents is guaranteed safety? I mean, what's your observation? Because I know you must have heard so many stories beyond these two men who you've been following for months.
Yeah, I feel like now it's really hard to know if we're guaranteed safety. Like I said, there's a risk in everything regarding ICE. So it's going to be really hard to know that. But if you are exercising the rights from these trainings that you learn from these trainings, from these simulations to the best of your ability, and you are, using that power to fight for what's right and fight for the justice and dignity of our most vulnerable community members, then, that's the best we can do in this moment.